The horn. Hey, it's your boy Exodus here. Alright, so we're back. Been like maybe 2 weeks? Maybe? I don't know. Right? But there has been a few little things I've been doing. This video is more going to be talking about kind of like it's a little toy, new toy I got. It's I feel like it's been helpful. I've been dabbling around with it. Haven't used it yet for the purpose I got it, but it's pretty good, right? So what I have here is a diagnostic tool, right? So instead of those like little OBD2 readers that you can buy like fixed or any other brand that you plug in, use your phone, connect to it, that's basically what this is, right? But it's a more advanced version, right? This right here. But, you know, it can do a lot more, right? So I'm going to unbox this, right? And I'm going to show you what it does. All right, so in the package, see right here, it comes with the little manual, the wireless OBD, right? So I'll pull these out for you. All right, so the little manual, right? We plug it into your OBD port, right? It's wireless. You can also do it wired to the actual diagnostic tool, but most of the time you're going to be using it wireless anyway, right? If you have it wireless, why even worry about anything else? So, right, put this away. Cool thing about it, right, which really threw me off is it comes with different types of plugs, right? So if, let's say you're in America, of course, you'll use the regular standard plug like this, right? It's pretty cool. Then there's little adapters to it. So let's say you're, I don't know, in Brazil or any like other Latin countries that use this one, the two-prong one. Then you have this right here for when you're in the EU, right? So there's like different plugs just in case you ever need to charge it somewhere else and you're not at, oh, a spider. Cool, it's dead. Now, it also came with this thing right here, right? Because it gives you a USB, right? And it's USB-C to USB-C, and they also give you a little adapter to make it a USB-A, right? So it comes in a bag just in case you ever need it. If you need to connect to a computer that doesn't have USB-C, which is quite a bit, actually, right? Not only that, right? So it comes with this right here. It's pretty cool. Put that in there. You'll slowly notice that I'm a little bit anal or OCD about my stuff. I literally put everything back in the bag it came from, or came with, right? Put this bag back in there. Slide that little manual in there. Now comes, interesting. All right, comes the actual diagnostic tool. Right? All right, so this is what it looks like, right? It's literally like a little tablet, right? Comes with a power button up here, a mic, USB-C port, right? So you can plug it in, right? So if you have tools like those cameras you can put usually inside tight spaces, you can put into your cylinders, you can literally plug it in and use it, right? So it saves the video feed and everything in here. In the back, it comes with the camera, a flash if you ever need it, and then also a little, sorry, a pain, a little kickstand. So you can put it on something rested, whatever, right? Now, you get this, right? You hold the power button a little bit, boom, it kicks in, right? Takes a couple of minutes, right? So as this thing is loading, I'll tell you some of the cool things it can do, right? So most OBD readers will kind of like tell you, hey, this is what's wrong. These are the common issues, right? If it's like a really broad thing, but these are the common issues that it can do, and then tells you what code it is, and you can clear it out, right? Sometimes. Now this one, it will tell you what it is, and it'll falls really into it, where you can certain things in your vehicle you can toggle on or off. So like, let's say, easy example that I did with this car when I was testing this out. It's booting up. Is I toggled, weird, the bass and treble on and off my vehicle. Or I raised my volume up to like 50% and then back to 10. So it was controlling things in my car without me having to really put like my manual input to it just by using this, right? Now, there are other things too where you can tell the one fuel injector to stop pushing fuel into that cylinder, right? It can even adjust your governor, right? Which legally I would advise you never to do that, because it's there in place for you to be safe and not exceed a certain safe speed that could cause, bodily harm to you. Yeah. Never turn that off. I'm kidding. Don't. You'll be surprised what your governor is actually limited to. You would think like, oh yeah, the government stopped me from speeding. Like, oh, it's probably limiting me at 150 miles an hour. No, it's not, right? It's actually limiting you at 255 miles an hour. I mean, in one car, in one example that I have. Plugged into my Challenger, and there's like, adjust top speed, right? I was like, the fuck? Go on there, and it was already selected for 255 miles an hour. My RT can't go that fast. The max I could push it, which I would never unless I'm in a track, would be 155 miles, 160 miles an hour. That is my top speed, right? So the government's on at 255, so it does have room to where you could upgrade it, make it faster, and it would still let you push it to that limit. Right? And if you're going 255 miles an hour, I think like if your car can go that fast, you should be happy enough, right? It's pretty fast, right? All right, now let's go back to this, right? So now, this is what the screen looks like, right? Let me shift here. This is what the screen looks like, right? It's pretty simple. It has the auto scan, right, feature, which when you plug into the vehicle, we'll see more about this when I actually jump in the vehicle and show you guys, right? Auto scan, it will scan your vehicle, get the VIN number for you. Then it's going to show you the information of the vehicle. Like, hey, this is a Dodge Challenger, VIN number, and like some like numbers that like serial numbers that came with the vehicle, right? You'll click OK, and then it takes you into a menu to where like it'll break down every code. It'll do like a little diagnostics check for you and tell you if there's any codes there are on, and it'll actually show you the history also if you didn't know that. So it actually like your vehicle will save codes, even if it like turned on for like 10 seconds and then turned back off, it literally saves it. So then you can just go back and be like, yo, this is weird, why, like, right? And that's how sometimes you can kind of wonder when you take it to a shop. They're like, hey, yeah, you had this issue, like my car's fine now. I was like, yeah, but it shot this code before, and it might come back depending on what it is, So that's how it is. It's saved on there, and it'll say history, like historical, right? You'll be like, oh, cool, historical, and then the cool thing is with this, though, is once you click export and save it to the tablet, it actually clears it off the car for you. But then you have a permanent, right? Let's see if I can pull it up here. Reports, Dodge Challenger, gives my VIN number and everything, right? So, let's see. Like right here, right? So you're looking at that. It literally is saying trouble code descriptions, right? Then it gives me the UGDO enable control circuit short to ground, right? It's active. Now there are other codes that were in my vehicle at the time, but they were like saved codes, like cellular antenna, circuit open, CAN, C-bus, off performance, right? So these are things that was an issue, but the car either figured it out or like it started working again, but it's like something for your situational awareness, as they say, right? So it's like, hey, like there was an issue. So if something does go wrong, you can look back like, okay, it's a reoccurring issue. It's probably on and off, probably a short, right? So these are like the things I was talking about, right? So like it goes to the little diagnostics check, and then it'll tell you what issues, right? Like boom, boom, and this will be like, hey, there's 2 on these areas. And this is just how it looks on the PDF, right? When it's on there, it's actually like rows. And then if there's an issue like this right here, once it's red like that, on the right side of it, it'll say diagnostic. You'll click it and it'll actually go like further into it. Be like, okay, what do you want to do? We can, some items let you run additional tests, like, you know, toggles on and off, or live monitoring. And then, like, let's say you're monitoring something and something's off, you can literally click freeze and it locks everything at that thing. Like, whoa, that's an issue, right? Like in my vehicle right here, which I have to do dig a little bit more in research when I'm doing this, right? So at one point, let me see if I can find it for you, right? All right. All right, so I don't know if you guys can see it that much, but so they're saying injector pulse width for cylinders, right? So it's telling the pulses in my injectors, right? So it goes 1100 or 1120, 1120, 1112, 1112, 1128, 1188, 1120, 1188, right? So like these cylinders, cylinder 8 and 6, seems to have like very minute, but it's still a little bit less of a pulse, right, width, right? So could that be concerning? I don't know, right? So that's just something that, like, I can keep an eye on. Then it breaks down also like O2 sensors, like what their level's at, what their goal is, and how much like it's actually like sensing, like, and it breaks everything down, right? You can share it, save it as PDF. You can connect this to a printer. You can print the stuff. This, like I said, it isn't for everyone. It's almost like a perfect tool for a mechanic, right? A maintainer. Because not only that, you can put like your business name on it, your telephone number, and then you basically like print it off like, hey, these are your issues. This is how much I'm gonna charge to fix it, right? Like stuff like that, right? That's what it's mainly used for. All right, so that was reports, right? It does the reports from you. You can save any report at any time, so then you can always go back to it and it saves it, right? Now, there's some other things that it does too, right? So you can do manual diagnostics on it too, right? It's like, why not? Why wouldn't you want to do some manual diagnostics? So if we're going to look over here, manual diagnostics, you'll click it, right? You can even do it right now when there's no thing plugged into the OBD, right? So then it goes, there's a demo mode, there's the OBD2, right? That's what everyone usually uses, right? Like those things you buy, like the fixed things you can use with the app. They're using OBD2, right? There's like some basic functions they can do. It can clear codes. It can do stuff. It really can't send codes to the vehicles. Like, hey, do this, right? It's more of a receiver. This does the receiving and sending of signals, right? So if you put an OBD2 though, you'll be just receiving. You won't be able to send, right? But then it breaks down into like, there's like my vehicles I can add here. And then it breaks it down like to vehicles. Like, okay, vehicles in Australia, vehicles from China. And it literally breaks down all the brands that are from China, right? Then you have from Asia. Go back to Asia. Acura, right? Infiniti, Mazda, Lexus, Kia, Honda, all those, you know, companies right there. And when you click it, you can also tell it to scan for the VIN. If not, you have to manually input the VIN and stuff like that. But basically, you clicking it will take you to the diagnostic stuff for every vehicle. And it just goes on, dude. Like all the American vehicles, every European vehicle, right? Now, another cool thing about this is it consistently updates. Like this thing is consistently up to date. The cool thing that I didn't know about this is that it gives you a subscription with this diagnostic tool for 3 years for free when you buy this. For free, right? After the 3rd year, I looked it up, it's $100 a year to get up-to-date stuff. Now, after 3 years, this isn't a lock and you can't do anything. It can still do everything. There's no software, hardware blocks it does after the 3 years are up. But you just won't get updates, which is very important because right now I'm looking at it, right? There's literally 2 updates. One for the Mini Cooper and the BMW, right? I literally was using this 2 days ago to work on to test it out on the BMW. And then now there's an update, right? So that's why, like, even after the 3 years expired, I would still, you know, if you're a consistent person that fixes their car, I would 100% pay $100 a year to get automatic free updates, right? It's a no-brainer. So it does all these updates, right? And it's cool and all. Now, the last thing I'm going to show you on this before we go out there and check it out, like in the vehicle, so you can actually see the cool things it can do. Like it can do like wild stuff. It can turn like the turn signal. It's cool. It's literally, you can be outside the vehicle, do all this, and do your checks without even being inside the vehicle, which is phenomenal, right? All right, so the last thing I'm going to show you, it's pretty cool. Here in special functions, right? You'll click on it, and bam. So right here, it's going to break everything down for you, right? So there's the oil reset, which is pretty easy, right? Most vehicles, you don't really need to use this. You can just do it inside the car. The EPD, right? It's the emergency parking brake, right? So for some vehicles, especially like a BMW that I have, you have to, when you're replacing the rear brakes, it's good for you to engage maintenance mode with that, right? Because if not, like when you push the piston for the brakes, you might end up damaging the little motor, right, on it. So you have to disengage it, put it in maintenance mode so you can be safe. There's the BMS reset, injector coating, right? Throttle, the ABS bleeding. There's like gearbox adaptation, the tire pressure sensors, right? Power balance, crank sensor, relearn, right? AC relearn, like suspension calibration if your vehicle's right. So all these, like these are the things that they offer, but it's not for like every vehicle can do it, right? Not every vehicle you can do suspension calibration, right? There's a window initialization, so if you replace the motor and you're like, especially those cars that don't have like the top trim, like my Challenger, when you open it and you close it, it goes toot, toot, right? You can recalibrate it so you don't end up like, if you replace the motor, it doesn't go all the way up or like stays up and you smack it and break it again, right? That's kind of like dumb. Headlight adjustment, right? Not everyone's headlights can be adjusted, but like things like in the BMW can be adjusted, how high and low it stays, right? So camshaft, sunroof initialization, right? So there's a bunch of things they can do. Example, like there's one setting here that literally says new engine. So basically, if you put a new engine in, you click it, and it'll literally help you make sure everything is good, right? I haven't done it because I haven't installed a new engine for me to test it out, but per what it's supposed to do is it'll make sure that everything is mapped out good, everything is working. It's everything that needs to be receiving a signal is receiving a signal and sending it out, right? So it's like a little check and balances that it does. So it can do all that. And again, it kind of works like a tablet, right? So if you go swipe up a little bit and go to home screen, it literally gives you a tablet look view, right? So it gives you like your settings, your pictures. There's TeamViewer on here, and that's for tech support, which is forever, 24/7, and it's a lifetime tech support. So if you ever have any issues with this and you need help, they got you, right? There's a camera app, the calculator, clock, email, Adobe already installed with it, right? All these things. And Chromium, right? Because like on certain like codes you get, you can click the little magnifying glass and it'll take you to like DuckDuckGo or Chrome, whichever one you have set up as a search browser, and it'll pull up the code and like, this is what it is. This is the common stuff that comes from it, and it like just helps you break it down a little bit further on steps on how to fix it, right? So I think, right, this is a good investment, right? It was $345, and it was on sale. Usually it's like $400 and something dollars. Yeah, nothing too crazy, right? So, nothing too crazy, right? You spend some money on it, and it'll last quite a bit. And like I said, lifetime tech support, 3-year subscription for the consistent updates, which is very important, especially when you're working on vehicles. And vehicles also update, you know, sometimes they can update over the air, or when you take it to the dealer, sometimes they're like, when they plug it in themselves, they're like, oh shit, this needs to be updated, and they'll update it with their software, which is their own thing, right? So we're gonna hop in the car real quick, and then so I can actually show you guys how this works, all right? So let's go. All right, we're back. We're in my car, it's nighttime, you know, got a day job, but light's gone. Tried recording this before. I was having issues with my camera. Hopefully now it's better and fixed. That's why I keep looking down, because I'm like, I really hope it doesn't shit the bed. But, alright, I'm going to show you some of the cool things you can do with the diagnostic tool. And, yeah, so let's jump into it. Alright, super easy. Alright, so, here, right, screen I showed you before. close to my house when I was an update. See, Nissan Infiniti, and sorry for it being all crooked like. Alright, Infiniti, right, Nissan Nissan DCR. I'm gonna update it, doesn't matter. You'll be doing it in the background anyway. Alright, so auto scan, right? I'll click that, starts conducting the little auto scan. Alright, so it's initializing, it's grabbing all the information. Boom. So I'll show you a screen, right? Tell you the model year, the body type, body style, and then it will give you your VIN number right there. It's gonna be blurred out, but it's right there. Right, you'll click continue. Right now, it'll give you the ability to do pre and post scans. This is mostly if you're running a shop and you want to do pre and post scan. Then there's system selection, which I'll show you later. But like the first thing you'll do usually is click automatic scan. It'll do its whole little spiel, right? See, pass, 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 and there's right. Keep going. It'll go. Let's see, there's an issue there. Right. Click here, right? It's telling you the issue I have on my vehicle, which I'm already tracking on it. The UGOD DU, and then of course when we go here onto radio, it'll say this is saved, it's in the system. This was what was wrong with it, right? I don't really need to check for that. So now what we'll do is we'll go to diagnostic, right, to find what could be wrong, right? So going to tell you, oh, I can read the ECU again. Right, if you click that, it's again just going to tell you the same thing as before, right? What was the error code? So the DTC is just going to give you the error code that was for that specific area, right? Body controller. Now the cool thing about this, like I was saying, is from here you literally can click on this, right? The magnifying glass, boom. It literally will search up for the web for you, asking you stuff, and then here it'll break things down for you, like, oh, this is what it does, right? So this is like, for this right here, it literally says, for the underdash garage opener, right? So for that little thing that's right above your lights in your, right behind your rear view mirror, right? Then it says like, troubleshooting steps, what to do, turn off the, you know, do these checks, right? One of them, not in this one, it mentioned, hey, check the fuse. So I'm like, oh, okay, that's pretty cool. All right, so you go there, but then it's bottom here, you'll click on the little car diagnostics, takes you right back to it, right? Right, boom. So I'm in the body control module, right? I can also get live data from that. So if I click live data, it breaks it down, right? Tell you my ignition, where it's at, if it's in run, right? If the vehicle door is left ajar, like let's see, driver door, ajar state, right? Basically if I have my door open, ajar. Let's close it. Not ajar. See how I show you? So it's giving you live information, anything you do, right? Tailgate, all that stuff. The lamps are on, right? Front parking lamps are on, et cetera, et cetera. And it goes really into it, right? The horn is the suppressed horn pressed. So if I honk the horn, it would also appear there, right? Regardless, right? System checks, actuator tests, special functions, right? So we're gonna go over this actuator test, right? Basically telling you some of the tests you have to have the engine off, but don't worry, the actual panel will tell you, like, hey, you need to turn off the vehicle to do this, and it won't let you do it otherwise, right? So test ignition run with AAC, unlock driver door, right? So if I click here, I can literally unlock the driver door and unlock my door, right? It's basically so you can test every signal to see if things are being received. Like, let's see, what else can I show you that, the horn, right? If I kept it on the on, it would honk the horn like indefinitely. But yeah, so it honks the horn like so. This is just to test things out without you actually pressing on the actual horn, right? There's starter solenoid, you can check that, the light plate, everything, right? The issue this has is with the UGDO, right? The power supply. I can't really, toggling on and off just turns off the garage opener, so that doesn't matter, right? Then you fall into special functions, right? The auto door locks, and you can change your country code, right? These are just some of the special functions that you can do under body control module, right? So let's go back out of here, right? Simple stuff.
All right, yeah, we'll exit it. System selection, right? Wow, look at all these things you can do. One of them is the powertrain control module, right? If you click that, if there's any codes on this, it'll read it again, right? Because now you're in a specific module and you want, hey, what are the errors? There's none found, right? Great. If there's any misfire, right, you'll click this, it'll tell you if you have any misfires, right? So it's right now, that's a counter, right? So this is a counter that repeats itself, and then it would tell you, okay, there's a misfire in cylinder 3, 4, but as you will see that it's just consistently gonna have no misfires. But this is one way to test it, right? Then let's see the system checks, right? So you can first gear clutch test, right? These are all things that not most people will be using, but yeah. Right? Fuel injector, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, because it's a V8, right? The fuel pump relay control state, the oxygen sensor, excuse me, right? Active exhaust. See how like I had issues on my vehicle with the active exhaust? I actually can set it to open it and fully close it whenever I want here and be able to clear things up on it. Now if you go to the special functions mode on this, cam crank relearn, if you replace your cam, right? Check PCM odometer. The exhaust phaser cleaner, new engine install. Like I said, remember when you have a new engine, you can just click that and it'll help you with the program and all that stuff on it, right? Look at that little prank thing I told you about. If I go here, right, saying that, you know, see, right now it says engine must not be running. So since it says that, it'll keep processing, and then when I don't turn off the vehicle, it'll be like, sorry, can't change it, right? So it does safety, so you won't do anything that would possibly put you in a tough spot. All right, so stay on that page for a while. All right, so finally got out of the page, right? That's just the power. There's transmission, there's the body control, there's the parkatronics, there's a bunch of things that you can literally fix. Radio system, right? You can do tests on this too, right? The trouble with buzzer, speaker quadrant. If there's any issue with any quadrant, video input, if you have any video, fade level balance, frequency selection, right? Radio volume, you can literally change the volume in the radio. Heating, ventilation, passenger module, everything, right? Left blind spot if you have any sensors on it, etc., etc. Right, this is one way you can do it. Let me see, let's go manual diagnostic, right? We could make a selection, but I'd rather not, so I'm just gonna click VIN, auto scan. Takes you there, yada, yada, yada. Found my VIN, again, it'll display all the stuff, make sure it's correct, and then it just takes you back to the auto scan feature. The other one just does it a little bit quicker, and then of course, whenever you need to do anything, auto select. Simple, right? All right, right? Like I said, this is an amazing tool for you to have. There's so many cool things you can do, things you can adjust, and it really is a lifesaver, right? It will help you in a lot of things, especially when you start working on your own car, and even if you don't, like, even for simple stuff. Like, example, like the BMW, whenever you're doing services on it, a lot of the things you're gonna need something like this on it, because if not, it's gonna mess up the whole vehicle. That's why, like they say, like BMW, yeah, they're a pain in the ass, yeah, they're expensive. It's because everything has to be done electronically, right? Everything needs, because if you don't do it right, you can break it. Example, change the rear brakes. I'm pretty sure I've said it already before. You need to put the EPD, right? It's the emergency parking brake, right? So for some vehicles, especially like a BMW that I have, you have to, when you're replacing the rear brakes, it's good for you to engage maintenance mode with that, right? Because if not, like when you push the piston for the brakes, you might end up damaging the little motor, right, on it. So you have to disengage it, put it in maintenance mode so you can be safe. So you have to go on this, click on EPB, put it in maintenance mode, which then disengages the motor completely, lets it full, like free spoolie, you know, so then you can push that down. And then replace the sensor in the rear. And then this also Once you install it, make sure you can literally test to make sure the sensor works. This right here. So it is a very important tool to have, especially if you can do maintenance, especially when you're doing cars that are a little bit of pain in the ass to work with, right? The challenge is a little bit easy. You can easily reset oil changes, reset anything that needs to be done. Changing the brakes is as easy. It's like all like mechanical, so everything can be done with your hands, and you don't have to worry about things going wrong. But these are the little things that are going to help, and I find having a tool like this, it doesn't have to be this specific one, right? I'm not saying, hey, go out and buy this specific run. I'm not being sponsored by them. Like, I bought this out of my own money just so I can work on my cars. All I'm saying is having something like this is definitely beneficial, especially if you can afford to drop a couple $100. Like, I would say it goes usually for like 400 and something with the tax. I got it at a pretty good price at $350, and I find that it's worth it because I'll be able to use it for, let me turn it off. I'll be able to use it for years, like for years. And it might be a light model. It can give me like topographs of like diagnostics to break, like, hey, if this is messed up, what's the next thing? If this is messed up, what could affect it? Like there's better models than this that will give you that, and which you will be like, oh, okay, so this might be the key failure point. So these are just things that I think will help. Right? Now, definitely in the near future, I will post again very soon. I'm pretty excited about this toy of mine, so I'll definitely be posting a lot of stuff and working a little bit more with vehicles. I have a few friends that are willing to help and let me work on their vehicle or fix it or do a project with them, which I'm really looking forward to. And I hope you guys too, especially like seeing me just doing more things that this channel was for. I feel like even for myself, it would make me feel a lot better because like this is really like my passion. I like working on cars. It's not my job. I like doing it. And I just want to share knowledge with you guys, right? Even if it's something that you might know, you might not know. I want to make it to where working on your own car or repairing your own vehicle can be done at the simplest form. So, like I've said before in the past, I try to break things down in an easy, simple way so that anyone can understand it, being car savvy or not, or tech savvy, mechanically savvy or not. And I hope these videos help. All right? Thanks again for watching. Deuces.